Welcome one and all. Welcome back to the CDPLABS Eduservices channel. We will be continuing with our live stream today. Um, Last week we looked at our question number 2 in our series of algebra questions. And of course, we're now going to do our final question. Right? We'll do our final question. And before we go to that final question, we're going to just before we get to question number 3, well, but yet, to be honest, it's not algebra. It's supposed to be functions and relation, not algebra. Don't know where we got that from. But of course, we will make the correction in terms of the title of our presentation tonight. So it should be functions and relations and not algebra. But they are still one of a kind. So it should be functions and relations and not algebra. We will correct that. So we'll be looking at question number 3, our final question for this series of question itself. All right. But before we go any further, let us take care of some business first and get this thing going. All right. So I don't know if you had visited the website before. If you have done so, you have already done the final question. And of course, we look forward to going through it together, myself and yourself. If you have not yet done so, then you can still visit the website and look at the worksheet as we go through this series of questions. Okay, welcome back to the CDP Labs Thursday Nights Live. I'm going to ask that if you have not yet subscribed, then of course you know that if you want to be one of those active participants and regular attendee rather, to the CDP Labs Thursday Nights Live, then of course you know what to do. Simple, subscribe that you can and click that notification bell. Another thing that we want to tell you as CDP Labs Services that we love to see when our subscribers have a meaningful experience with us. What does that mean? That simply means that we post our worksheets weekly once it is completed in the live. So you can go there, maybe, let's say just post it like on the weekend. You can always access it on a Monday, run through the questions before Thursday night, and then you come on to see what your answers were. Because let's face the fact, there are persons who are doing passport questions on their own, but there's nobody to mark it for them. So being at our live is one way of assisting you if you're an independent student, you're working on your own to prepare for the exam, then this is the place for you, right? Now, what you can also do, as I said before, so you might be asking, how do we access these worksheets on a weekly basis? Here's the website address, cdplabsservices.com. Then, of course, you go to ebooks and then you click on YouTube questions, and there you have it. That's where you will find our weekly worksheets. So I've completed question 1 and question 2. Now the title should have been not algebra continuous, but it should be relations and functions and graphs continue. And we are here at question number 3. Now we have another feature coming up shortly. If it is that none of these questions, if you have more questions that you'd like us to, or like me to go through, then obviously you will be having a slot on our page where you can upload a picture of the question that you want us to go through. And then, of course, you can look forward for us going through that particular question for you. Once the maths question, then we will go through the question for you. All right? Now, without any further ado, let's get down to business. All right. So we're at question number 3, live and direct. Now, it says the function f with domain. And we see a special word here, domain. Now, when you, earlier in some of our last 2 recordings, you'd have seen where certain concepts were made simple. So we're going to be doing the same thing. Now, where you see the word domain, another word that you can use for the word domain is input. Another word you can use for the word domain is input, what you call x values. Good. So the function f with inputs are the x values. And so you have a set of values in that domain, and they call that set A. So there are 3 set of values, 1, 2, and 3 is given by the function of x minus 3. All right. Now, for the first question, you have to know what of x means. What of x simply means is that you multiply the value of x by half, or you find half of the value of x, then you take 3 from that response, right? So let's see how the first part of the question is done. What is the value of f of 1? What does this mean? It means that you're going to put where x is in the function, you're going to put 1. So for example, the function is this. Now, f of x is the same thing as y, right? You can say y is equal to f of x. So where this x is going to be replaced with what? 1. Then minus 3. It's the first step. Now, half of 1 is what? Half of 1 is 1, right? Half of 1 is 1. So, half of 1, sorry, is a half, not 1. My mistake. Half of 1 is a half. So if you divide 1 into 2, if you divide 1 into equal parts, you're going to get 2 equal halves. So therefore, half of 1 is a half. So therefore, now, we're going to minus 3 from a half. Now, please note that here we're looking at a situation where you probably have negative and positive integers or directed numbers. So you're taking a bigger number from a smaller number because naturally a half is smaller than the whole number 3. Now, if you have 3 wholes, now you can calculate it as in 3 minus a half first, but you know that the answer must be the negative response, right? So a half from 3 wholes. Let's reason it out. There are 3 wholes. If you take a half from one of the 3 wholes, you're gonna have a half left. So therefore, the answer should be 2.5. Good? 2.5. And that's therefore that 2.5 is a negative 2.5. So the answer for this part of the question, what we're doing this one, I'm gonna put the answer at the top. From here to here, it's a negative 2.5. Good? Notice I didn't do any LCM or anything like that for this particular question. If you want to be able to think and reason this way, then be a student of CDPLABS services. That's how we train our students to think and reason this way. All right. Now, so that mark was quickly taken. All right. So that's it. So let's go back over that. 1, you replace x with the value of 1. Half of 1 is a half. For you to have a better understanding of it, you can just say a half from 3. Now you have to have that mental picture in your head now and say that if I take a half from one of those whole, what I'll end up having, and I'm going to show you something so you can have a better understanding. What I'll end up having is 2.5. Let's look at something to make this point easy for you to understand. All right. Now, for you to understand, I'm going to go to um one of our thing that we use. All right. So you can understand how this thing actually works, right? Let's look for that and show you how it works. Because I want you to understand now. I don't want you to come to the live not understanding how I get that 2.5. So here it is. Yep. Live and direct. Live and direct. Coming. Here it is. Some person probably wondering how they can't see how them can't see my face. All right, when the camera come up back, you'll be able to see my face. All right, don't worry yourself. Remember, you can participate by saying something in the chat. All right. All right. So here it is now. How we get that 2.5. Now remember, you're taking a half from 3 whole. So here's 1 whole. So we have 3 wholes. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. But you must take a half from this. Take a half from the 3. In order to take a half from the 3, you have to turn one of these wholes into 2 equal halves, right? So let's replace that with 2 equal halves. So now we still have 3. We still have 3 wholes in it. But we'll take one of the 1 and turn it into a half. Now, if I remove a half from it now, what I'm going to have left is 2.5. So to get rid of this whole. So I take a half from it, put it back. What I have left is 2.5. Simple maths. Good. As I said before, if you want to learn how to do these things or think like that, register with CDPLABS Eduservices. All right. So let's return to our question that we're looking at now. All right. Here we are. Good. So let's look at the second part of the question. It is find the value of x for which f of x is minus 2. So in this case now, remember now that f of x is the same thing as y. So where you see f of x is the same thing as y. Good. So note that you can rewrite it by saying y is equal to negative 2. All right. Now, this question, or this part of the question, is still in relation to this function still. So note now, what is the value of x for y to be equal to negative 2? I'm going to take my time on this one, because I want you to understand this. What it is saying is that, let's put y bracket box minus 3. Now, 3 from what number will make y negative 2? It is obvious that y must eat that it's obvious that whatever the value of box is must be a number less than 3. Good. And that number, when you take 3 from that number to give a negative 2, that obviously that value must be less than 3. Now, if you try 2, 2 minus 3 is only going to give you negative 1. So therefore, 2 would not be the correct answer. If you try another number that's less than 3, that will be 1. So 1 minus 3 will give us what? Negative 2. So what is it saying then? It is saying that f of x, remember f of x is what will be in the box. F of x, it is saying that f of x, this f of x here, let's put it up here, is equal to 1. Sorry. Not the value of x is equal to 1, but f of x, the product of f of half and x rather, the product of half and x is equal to 1. That's what it's saying. Because remember, the box is really half x. But then what is the value of x? Half of what number will let we get the value of 1? Of course, common sense will tell you what? 2. So therefore, x is equal to 2. Again, if you want to reason, be able to reason like that, register with CDPLABS Eduservices. So x is equal to 2. All right. Let's move on now to part 3 of the question. So now we know the first answer here was negative 2.5. The second answer was 2. And let's see what they're asking us in part 3. Now in part 3, it says an ordered pair for the function is expressed in the form a comma b. Now it says note, an ordered pair for the function. Which function? For this function. When they say ordered pair, it's the same as saying a point, like a point on the graph. So an ordered pair is the same thing to say a point on the graph. It's like you're saying a point on the graph. For example, commonly it is known as xy, x comma y. But I use AB, same thing. So really what they're asking for is a point on the graph. So use your answers to AI, which is this one, and A2 otherwise. List the ordered pairs for the function. So you notice that in part 1, you'd have been asked to find the value of y. In part 2, you're asked to find the value of x. So now in order to have the value of x and the value of y, then this is the answer. 2 comma negative 5/2. And I write the mixed fraction as an improper fraction. Because 2.5 is the same as 5/2. The next part of the question says, explain why f of x is not equal to 5 or cannot be equal to 5 for the function specified. The simple answer, note that it's a y cannot be equal to 5. Now, first of all, you have to plug in the value of 5 where f of x is. So plug in the value of 5 where f of x is. Let's clear the board so we can have some space. Now they're asking, note enough, explain why. That means you must give a what? A reason. You must state the reason why it is that f of x, which is this function, cannot be equal to 5. The symbol equals and a line drawn across it means what? Not equal to. For the function specified. What was the function specified? This is the function specified. Now, in order for us to give an explanation, we have to first find out what is the value of x when y is equal to 5. So, again, we can write f of x is equal to the same as y. So let's go up here for a little bit, if you don't mind. So we're going to put 5 then is equal to half x minus 3. Now, what is the product of half x? That when you subtract 3 from 5, 3 from that product, you will get 5. Well, one thing I know is that 3 from 8 will give me 5. So that means that half x must equal to what? To 8. But then again, now the next question you'll ask yourself, half of what number will equal to 8? That is 16. So x therefore is equal to 16. Now here's the answer to the question now. If you notice that 16 is not a part of the what? Domain. That's the reason why the function cannot be equal to 5. F of x cannot be 5 because 16 is not listed in the domain. That's a simple reason. All right. Now let us pause here for a minute. A person who might just be joining, good night. Welcome again to CDPLABS Eduservices. Just want to ask that, we like to have a live talk box session with our viewers. So if you could say something in the chat that we know what's your name, which country you're from, if you had done, if you went to the website and did the worksheet, etc. etc. Of course, you'll be recognized once you say something in our chat. All right. So those are the answers to those questions. Let's proceed further. So now we have this now. Solve the inequalities. Now last week I used GeoGebra to show you how the inequalities look like and what it means, because it's important to know what it means. So guess what I'm going to do again, just for you to learn something. I just Google GeoGebra. Nothing difficult in that. It comes up and you make use of it. Now the function that we're going to plug into the graphing calculator for you to see what the expression means. It says 3x minus 11 is less than 11. Sorry, less than, so I should have minus 1 and not 11. My bad. It's less than 11. What it is saying is that the difference of 3x and 1 is less than the value of 11. Now look at how it is on the graph. If you notice, this is the x-axis on the graph. Good. We have negative 11 here. And we have positive 4 right here. Now, if you notice that the shaded region represent the values of x that will make this inequality statement true. So what you're really looking for when you're solving the inequality are the values of x that will make the statement true. Understand that. That's what they're asking you for. Therefore, those values of x would fall from here to here. That's what that shaded region means. I will be coming back to this graph later down in the question. Sorry about that. Good. Now, if you notice on the graph, there's a dotted line. Now, that dotted line means that the benchmark that is used for x value is 4. But this is not equal to 4. But that's a benchmark. It's not equal to 4. X is not equal to 4. Good? Instead of a dotted line. Now, if it was a solid line, now, then it would have meant that x is equal to 4. Okay? Now, let's see how the calculation is done. So we're doing this, right? So first thing you have to do is to rewrite this expression like this. 3x minus 1 is equal to 11. So you're working the assumption that is equal to 11. You're working with the assumption that the difference of 3x and 1 is 11. So we're solving for x. The 3x is equal to what number when you subtract 1 from it will give you 11? 12. So 3x must be equal to 12. But what number when you multiply by 3 is equal to 12? That must be 4. So x is equal to 4. So now we find the value of 4, value of x. Now if you plug in 4 where x is, you're going to get 12 minus 1. But 12 minus 1 is not equal to 11. No, sorry, is equal to 11. But note, the expression is not equal to 11, but less than 11. So therefore, you cannot say that x is equal to 4 in a final answer. Because if it's x is equal to 4, you are suggesting that this expression is equal to 11, when that is not the statement. The statement is that this expression is less than 11. Now, if you bend your elbow, some persons sometimes confuse the symbol. If you bend your elbow, whatever is behind the elbow is less. Whatever is before the elbow is greater. That's one way you can use to not make that confusion. All right? So how do we write our answer then? If we cast x is equal to 4, then this is how you write the answer. So how you write the answer now, what you can do is try values either greater than 4 or less than 4. So if I put say 5, 3 5s 15 minus 1 is 14. So therefore, the higher you go, greater than 4 would not make the statement true. Because remember, we're trying to make the statement true. Let's put a value less than 4 now. 3 3 is 9 minus 1 is 8, which is less than 11. So that will make the statement true. Therefore, the values of x must then be less than 4 for the statement to be true. So this is the inequality statement that will make this statement true. All right? Good. So let's move on to part B. Now remember the graph I showed you before. And if you look at the graph, you'll clearly see that this answer is actually correct. Let's go straight to the graph. If you notice that 3 is less than 4, 2 is less than 4, 1 is less than 4. So all x values coming down to infinity is less than 4. All right? Good. Let us now move on to the next question. What is the next question? This one right here. We're going to put this on the graph for you to now see how the thing line up. All right? Let's get to it. Join me on it. Ready? So we're going to write this expression on the graph and see what it looks like. So 2 is less than or equal to. When a line is drawn below the greater than or less than sign, it is saying that the thing is equal. So what this means is that it is saying that 3x minus 1 is equal to 2, but also greater than 2. All right? So let's look at what that looks like on the graph. So we're wrapping up shortly. All right, so we'll take that off. We'll get rid of this quickly, get rid of it. All right. So we'll put a second expression now, which reads that 2 is trying to see if I can get a greater than or equal sign. Here it is. Is less than or equal to the expression 3x minus 1. Now I have to observe now. Comparing this graph to the first one. If you note, you have a solid line. So it is suggesting that the line, the value x equal 1, x is equal to 1. But it's also what? Greater than 1. So the answer to the question is x is equal to 1, but also greater than 1. For this statement to be what? True. So how do we show that calculation? Let's look at it. All right. So this is how it is done. Now, so we're going to rewrite this and say 2 is equal to what? 3x minus 1. Now, here's a question. And I'm trying to create a pattern for to create a new thinking or a new way of reasoning out the thing without showing this long length of calculations, right? Or steps, as you would call it. So we're saying that the question is being asked. I put a circle around 3x. What number is, when I minus 1 from that number, it gives me 2. That must be 3. So it is saying to me that 3x is equal to positive 3. But the question is asking now, what number when multiplied by 3 give me 3? Must be 1. Therefore, value of x is 1. But how do we write the statement now? We look at our graph, and we notice that x is greater than or equal to 1. X is greater than or equal to 1. So, that's how you write it. We start on the graph. Now, when in the exam, you might be saying, but sir, I can't do a graph. That is true. So what do you do then? To be confident your answer is correct, you simply plug in the value of 1. 3 times 1 is 3. 1 from 3s, they give you 2. So it's equal to 2. So you put in a higher value. 3 times 2 is 6. Minus 1 is 5. So therefore, it would say that this will become 5 over here. But it is saying that the statement is greater than what is over here. Good. When you use a value higher than 1. Good. So on the graph, you saw what it meant. The region that was covered, and I will go back to that. So before we go back to that, please note that your answer is this one. All right. Let's go back to the graph. Here's the graph. So we're saying that this symbol here, this statement, x is equal to 1. See there? But also what? Greater than 1. Back to infinity. Because infinity simply means what? You have to what? You keep counting, never end counting. Never end counting. Good? Now, we have a question to answer. We have a question to answer. And that question is going to answer using the graph, and I'll show you how you represent the answer. Let's go back to it. So we're at part I. Final question. So we didn't have you long tonight, right? Now we say represent the solution 2. Now if you notice, there are two inequalities here combined together. The first one what we did first. So what they just did was to combine these two inequalities together to make it one. Good. Now you know that for this one, you know the answer for that one was x is less than 4. So you're going to look for 4. But you also note that for this one, that x was greater than or equal to 1. So then, the statement must fall between those two when you're representing it on the number line. So we have to look for 1. Now we note where 1 is. It is going to be something like this. A solid line. Then we fix that up. A solid line. Good. Can I fix it up a little bit more? Good. Take on 1. Now where 4 is, you're not going to have a solid line, but a broken line. So let me kind of use a different approach to create that broken line itself. So I'm going to have to use a dotted line to represent that broken line. That's one way of representing it on the graph, on the number line. Another way you could do it, I'm going to show you a different method that they have. That's one method. The other method now, you draw line up, a line up. Then you're going to use some circles. So use a solid circle when it is equal. And then you use a transparent circle when it is not equal. And then you draw the line between. You may use a double arrow if you so desire, because basically that's it. So that's another way of representing it on the number line. Now I'm going to show you the graph now to confirm that. To take a good visual at that. Screenshot it if you must, so you can compare what I have here with what it will be on the graph itself. Sorry. So let's go on the graph. So we're kind of wrapping up the session now. We're going to the end of our last question. So here we go. So put in 2, and that would be what? Less than or equal to, the function is 2x minus 1. And then we have the less than sign at 11. So you see? Same thing. Solid line at 1, dotted line at 4. Again, if you want to be able to master this, it's CDPLABS Eduservices are suggesting to you or inviting you to register with CDPLABS Eduservices. Now, some persons might say, but sir, suppose we can't afford it. Well, CDPLABS is coming up with a special promotion to make being a member of the school or a student of the school affordable to you. Now, we know that life across the world, the economies across the world, is kind of difficult. So we do give our students discounts. We give you a coupon in exchange. Now, how you get the coupon now? Now, one way of getting the coupon is that you go to our website and you do our first assignment. You click on program list and you go to do our first assignment. So if it's mathematics you're doing, you select mathematics. And then you'll do that assignment. At the end of it, you'll get uh at the end of it, you'll get I see your question, Alison. I'm gonna answer it. At the end of it, you'll get a certificate, and you use that certificate in exchange for a coupon that will give you a discount. Now, Alison is asking a question. Say, good night, sir. What time you normally start? Well, it depends. Now we're on daylight saving time, right? So let's say that we were an hour before. So that we normally start at 8 o'clock, really. We normally start at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock Jamaican time. That's when we go live on here. 8 o'clock Jamaican time, Alison. So good night to you, Alison. Question, Alison. Is this your first night watching us? Or your second night? Let me know if this is your first night, Alison, or your second night. And of course, is this your, if not, no problem. Where are you from? Just tell me which country you are from as well. That we would love to have that kind of information. But to answer your question though, it's 8 o'clock Jamaican time. That's when we go live on a Thursday night, right? Um, so I was just saying to others while we wait and listen to respond to my question that so if you want to register with CDPLABS Eduservices and you want that discount, you can do your first assignment free of cost without any form of payment, get that certificate, and then of course you will be able to get your coupon and you get that discount. Now, another promotion is coming up, and also another way to get the discount too. Once you participate in a live, if you participate in a live, as in like Alison did, she asked a question, so that you were present at the live, then you also get a coupon for that discount. And I can tell you that Jamaica Online School Association, which CDPLABS is a member of, we're looking at another promotion where the classes will be very affordable. You'll get out of an 8-month program, you'll get 7 months free. Yes, CDPLABS is doing a big promotion to help students who are preparing for exams. So you'll get 7 months free. That means you only pay for 1 month and the other 7 months free of cost. Now, so I'm just letting that one out. So of course you can quickly go to the website, fill out the application form, and of course someone will contact you and be able to sort you out. Now, Jamaica Online School Association has more than one schools in that group. CDPLABS is a member of it. So one of the schools deal with PEP. So if you know anybody who's doing PEP, okay, I see you're Jamaican. Okay, very good, very good. Which parish are you from? Where in Jamaica? Which parish is it? All right. So we do PEP as well. Another school that takes care of PEP. CDPLABS offer maths and sciences, and we have had a very good track record with our sciences, of course. And persons who have come to our live before would have known that we have a very good track record with our science. If you go to our on our YouTube page at the very beginning of it, Okay, Alison, first time. You're a parent. Okay, welcome. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. Now, if you're a parent and your child is going to be doing maths exam, and if he's working or if she's working independently, what you can have the child do is come to the website, go to ebooks, and you'll find a weekly YouTube um, questions, and then the child can go through those questions prior to joining the live on a Thursday night. And of course, when the child goes through all those questions, then they come to the live to see how the questions should be answered and what the answers are. All right. So you could have, if you are not the one doing the exam and the child is doing the exam, then of course you can have the child come to the website, um, click on ebooks, and then of course you'll see the weekly worksheet, and then they'll go through it, then come to the live to see how it's done. Because we want to have a meaningful session. We don't want this person to just come like that. Okay. I'm seeing Jaydan. Oh, good night, Jaydan. How you doing? Good night. Jaydan is from what? Elite, right? JD Elite. Good night, Jaydan. Nice seeing you. Thank you for coming to the live. I hope that it was meaningful for you and so forth. All right. So I am saying, so if you don't want to register with the school, that's okay. But if you're going to get a meaningful experience from the live, then we invite you to go to the website, you access the ebooks, and you see YouTube questions, right? So just bear in mind that there's no cost to access the worksheet. Just go there, get the worksheet, get the work done, come to the live and see how the question should be answered and what the answers are. So I hope, oh, it's Jamar Garden. Okay, Jamar. Okay. Jamar, which country are you from, Jamar? Which country are you from, Jamar? Which country are you from? All right. And for those persons who are looking to register with CDPLABS Eduservices, I just want to say to you again that we are a member of Jamaica Online School Association, and what we do, we specialize. So of course, CDPLABS specialize in the maths and science. Then we have two other schools that specialize in business studies. So if you're doing POB, Principles of Accounts, IT, EDPM, you can register with those two schools. And of course, um, if you're doing PEP, then you can register with AB Tutoring Services. They take care of PEP. Okay. Oh, so Jaden is from St. Anne's. Also, Jamaican passes here. All right. Thank you very much, Jaden Jamara, for hanging out with us tonight. It's a pleasure. And I must say to you that there are persons who have come to our YouTube channel in the past, actually an entire class from a whole different parish, and did HSB, when we were running HSB live on English language live. Um, the students actually joined the program, and that's actually got grade 1, right? And one of the students who got a grade 2 in HSB, she's now looking to be a member of our school for mathematics because she'll be doing mathematics next year. So I promise that you will hear from her one of these nights and have she share her experience when she came to the YouTube channel, then she joined her marathon, and what was the experience like. And I must say that we give God all the glory for our track record that we have had and for the performances of our students in the past who has done very well, right? So again, want to say good night to you. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for those persons who have participated in the live, like Alison and Jamar. It, it was a pleasure, really and truly, um, presenting before you. And of course, we look forward for next week's presentation. We are going to be looking at a whole different unit of questions. I promise you to be no less than 3 questions, maybe 3 or more. Okay, so Jamar, you need help with mathematics. All right. So Jamar, you said that you need help with mathematics. All right, fine. What you can do is you have 2 choices. One of the choices that we are giving you is you weekly go to the um, worksheet, do them before the live, which is on Thursday nights. So next week worksheet will be posted on our website. You'll see it on Monday. It could be earlier, but I assure you that you will see it on Monday, God's willing. Now, what you do, you go there, access the worksheet, go to the questions first, then come and see how it's answered. That way, you'll be trying to do it on your own first. Now, another way that we help our students to develop, I want you to understand, and I'm glad you mentioned though, um, I'm glad you mentioned, Jamar, that you need help with mathematics. And I'm going to say this clear to everybody right now, very clear, that Jamaica and probably other Caribbean countries that have very bad experience last year with mathematics. This is one of the reasons why we decided to specialize as institutions and not to be stretching ourselves like that. Because we want to ensure that the students get a sound development and preparation for the exams. Now, it means that there's something wrong. If you notice that when you look at your preliminary slip or the results slip, or when you go online and check your results, or the CXC exam set out their stuff is as if you have what we call a profile dimension. Now for mathematics, most students who get a grade 4 gets a grade E, a letter E, for reasoning. It means then was not the knowledge that they don't have, but it's to demonstrate their ability to reason. So therefore, it means that you need a program that will help you to develop your ability to reason as it relates to mathematics. Now, CDPLABS are now doing that, right? They have been developing a program to ensure that our students don't just get content, but they get assigned project assignments, hands-on assignments that will force them to develop that way of thinking. When you go on our YouTube live at the very beginning, or YouTube channel at the very beginning, you'll see a student sharing her experience. She had a real experience. And she came to the institution 2 weeks before the exam. 2 weeks. And we use a strategy to help her to be able to cover a 2-year syllabus in 2 weeks. And she got a grade 2. A grade 2. Again, we give God all the glory. We don't claim it for ourselves. We give the glory to God. And we're simply saying to you, if you really need that help, I would suggest to you that you go to the website now and you fill out the application form. Someone will get to you, and I can assure you, Jamar, that if you do it tonight, I'll make sure that you get that great discount that we're offering to our students now. So if you want that discount, where you only pay for 1 month and 7 months free, or the remaining amount of months that you have left before exam free, then of course I'll ensure that you get that discount. And then you can start joining the program so you can get that help that you really need. Same thing for you, Alison. If your child needs that same help, or if you are the one, you said you are the parent, so if you need that help for your child, then you can do the same. Now, one final thing before I close this live. If there's no further questions to be asked, one further thing before I close this live. I want you to understand something. They say practice makes perfect. And what you practice is what you become. So if you practice mathematics, you'll become a good math student. Staying true to the statement. Now, what do I mean by practice? If you have a textbook working with textbooks, and I will always recommend Raymond Tulsi textbook. If you know that textbook, it's in the bookstores out there in Jamaica. Raymond Tulsi textbooks, it have a lot of examples. What I've discovered a secret that a lot of persons who don't do well with mathematics, they don't do well using examples. So what I do, I force them to use the examples, meaning that when they try to struggle with the examples, because remember now, you are going through each example step by step, but you also have to make a judgment call to determine which questions this example refers to. That helps in reasoning. That helps to develop your reasoning ability. So instead of me showing the students how the thing is done, I said use the textbook first, follow the examples, do the practice questions. If you notice, the textbook said exercise. Now, when you exercise, you become what? Fitter, stronger. Good? All right. Okay, Alison, she's a part of their class. Their class, whose class referring to, Alison? It says she's already a part of their class. Whose class are referring to? When you said their class, whose class referring to? All right. Well, if she's already a part of a class, no problem. She can still go to the website and get access to the worksheet, go through the questions, come to the live to see how the questions should be answered and what the answers are. All right, but it says she's already a part of their class. I don't know which class is referring to, right? So I'm saying, going back to what I was saying, that at the end of the day, when you practice, you're exercising, you utilizing the knowledge. They say you learn from doing. So the more you do, the more you learn. You have to be disciplined. If an exercise of 100 and odd questions, let's say it have 200 questions, if you fall short of one, you have not practiced. If you do all 200 questions, whether you get it right or wrong, you have practiced. If an athlete is preparing for Olympics, if that athlete missed training, I can tell you that that athlete has robbed his or herself of getting a medal in the finals or even reaching the finals. So it's the same thing with academics. You can't shortchange yourself when you're practicing. Always practice, and you must get within the passing grade. All right. So I am saying to you, do what you need to do. Pray before you start to study. Pray before you start to practice, and God will do the rest. All right. So I hereby now invite you guys to go to the website, fill out the application form. She's a part of my class. What's her name? Alison, what's her name? You sure she's a part of my class? You sure about that? You are the parent and she's a part of my class. You sure, Alison? Is it the class that I have on Saturday nights you're referring to? Are you referring to the Saturday nights class? Let me know if you're referring to the Saturday nights class, Alison. You let me know if she's a part of the Saturday nights class. You don't have to give her a name, but you let me know if she's a part of the Saturday nights class. All right. So, Jamar, I hope you have gone to fill out the application form. But I want to say to you guys once again you go to the CDPLABS Eduservices website, click on ebooks, then YouTube questions, past paper questions, and you get access to our weekly worksheets. All right. And we're doing everything in our power to ensure that our life is meaningful like it has been in the past. So this time we are focusing on placing emphasis on mathematics to ensure that persons do well in the exam coming next year. All right. Just as I said before, just as how we had students who found out about us. Oh, Janil. Okay, Janil. Okay. Oh, let me say this to you, Alison. Make sure Janil do. Let me say to that Jamaican. Make sure Janil do me assignment them. Make sure she do me assignment them. That's all me have to say to you. And she must do every part of the assignment, including the part where she have to do the projects them, etc. Because the projects is where I work on the student ability to think and to reason. All right. So please ensure that she is doing the project part of the assignments as well. She might say she not understand at the beginning, but guess what? If she persevere, she'll figure it out. She'll find a way to do to do the project and get it done. So the students must do the project. So I guess you have seen some of those near-pad assignments that you get and what the assignments is composed of, right? Well, I'll make sure she come to the Thursday night live as well and make sure she do the worksheets prior to. All right, so once again, I want to say thanks to those persons who have stopped by and participated in our live right here. And other things that we had in the past will return to our programming. We back in the past when we are doing competition, we have our students in our Zoom session competing with students in our YouTube live. So the Zoom class would have normally been streamed on the live. So they were competing. You know, we gave the persons in our YouTube live access to. We gave them access to the the quiz that we were doing for them to compete, and it was fun. It was great fun, and I must say to you that we will get to that fun part when further, because in January that's when we really start rolling out everything and make everything work for you guys. So, but now we're going through some possible questions, letting us see how the questions should be answered and what those answers are. Because we know some persons are doing exam in January. All right. So next week we'll be moving towards geometry and trigonometry, and be looking at our trigonometry questions first, and then we look at transformation geometry, etc. Because we know there's a big unit to cover, so we'll be spending some time to work on that. So next week, Monday coming, look out for the set of possible questions for trigonometry, and then you come to the live to see how you should approach those questions. So it's good night from Mr. Bernard here. Thank you very much for coming to our live session. And if you have not yet subscribed, I not beg nobody to subscribe like all other YouTubers. All I'm doing is suggesting to you that you should subscribe if you want to know when we are coming on live. And if you like the presentations night after night, I am not begging you to click on the like. If you do like it, then you click on the like. And of course, sharing is caring. So the Bible said the more you give, the more blessed become. So guess what? Sharing is caring. I am sharing it to you. I am asking you to share the channel with someone else. All right. So without any further ado, it's good night from Mr. Bernard. And of course, enjoy the rest of the week and look forward to seeing you guys next week. And that's it. Have a good night.